Last year, my team and I conducted a little research on English learning habits of our students in Cần Thơ City, and we aimed at finding more effective learning methods for them. And we were surprisingly pleased to see from the EFEPI reports that Vietnam, for the first time, has just moved out from the poor English proficiency group to move to the medium level. According to the 2023 EPI index, Vietnam ranks 58 out of 113 non-native English-speaking countries, 7th in Asia and 4th in Southeast Asia. Isn't that a positive sign for us? Especially just 2 years ago, we were still regarded as having low level of English. However, when you look further at the A-Trend report, you will see an underlying paradox behind the positive result. It turns out that Vietnamese individuals in their 30s and 40s advance 3 times quicker than their younger counterparts aged 18 to 25. Why do young people who are thought to be in their prime in learning English lose their advantage? And why is it not the case the younger, the better? During my 5 years of teaching English as a second language, I've been fortunate enough to become a mentor for many Vietnamese people from the north to the south of Vietnam. And this has given me a great opportunity to see their diverse and authentic journeys. Every day, I keep treating my students as small seeds, carefully nurture them, appreciate them, and sometimes strict with them, thinking about a date they bloom their first flowers and produce their first fruit. And from time to time, class to class, I've discovered an interesting fact that when it comes to learning English in short terms, young learners appear to make greater progress than adult learners in terms of the number of vocabularies that they can memorize, the number of phrases and expressions that they can speak, or how fast they can improve their listening and speaking skills. However, in the long run, adults significantly prove to be highly skillful at making the most of what they have learned. It results in better improvement in their English ability and good goal that they can achieve eventually. An example for this is when learning about 12 months in a year and the prepositions that go with them. I would like to ask the audience here, how long does it take you to learn 12 months in a year? And how long for the prepositions that go with months only, dates only, or the combinations of both of them? It only took my outstanding student 1 hour to master all of them, and the others 1.5 to 2 hours. And after that, they quickly talk about their birthday, their family member's birthday, and even their K-pop idol's Chinese birthday. And when even the class was over, they were still eager to learn more and more, as if the amount I taught them was never enough. Their brains were like sponges, absorb rapidly the knowledge I taught them. But on the other hand, while young learners were showing great vivacity, the adults' way of learning was different. Teacher, can I just learn 6 months out of 12 for today? They often ask me. Why do we say months before dates, whereas we do the opposite in Vietnamese? And why do we say at Christmas, but then on Christmas Day? Therefore, the way I teach them is so different from younger learners, as I know that they will do better when they know how English works. And although it is true that young people can learn English quicker, the tables turn on the 3-month mark. when the majority of young learners lose their enthusiasm, while adult learners obtain stronger foundation. As a supportive and open-minded teacher, I did make adjustments to my lessons to make them more engaging, but sadly, the more I changed, the higher their demands for change was. How many more hours of my life must I spend hopelessly fighting water for these seeds? Is it an infinite loop? After putting a lot of effort and time, I've realized that it's not about how frequent the changes are, but it's about how different their brains functions that make they learn English in a very distinctive manner. So, from my experience, there are two factors that contribute to adult success in learning English. First, they have better language experience and better situational awareness. Let's take a real life example. In a marriage, a couple usually go through different stages, including the happy and rewarding honeymoon stage, and then the suffering hardship state. On the journey to achieve English learner experience exactly the same thing. Therefore, those who are aware of the fact that the honeymoon state won't last long and are prepared for the challenges ahead of them will win the game at the end. The second reason why adults can become better learner in English than younger people is that they cope with information overload better than young people. We are now living in an era of short videos, and it's no secret that those short form videos platforms like TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook have a very big impact on how teenagers and youngsters digest information. And among my students, there's a common belief that the more they watch short English language video, the better their English will become, providing an easy way to learn English. However, the improvement depends more on how one watches rather than how much, as these videos focus attention only on minutes-long content. Training the brains for just only brief focus rather than sustainable learning. That is why more is less. When education is just a click away and there are so many alternatives to pick from, decision making becomes more difficult than ever. Actually, everyone suffers from information overload as is a part of our modern life. But youngsters are primarily affected by it, while adults tend to filter out and ignore the irrelevant information. It is thanks to their stable mentality and their goal orientation trait. So, to put it in a nutshell, I sincerely recommend people who are studying English or who want to study English that no matter if you are young or old, be specific with your goal. Be alert not to be trapped in information overload, and be aware of phases like honeymoon and hardships to adapt. And finally, regardless of challenges, be a little more consistent, a little more patient, and hang in there a little longer until you make your dream come true. I particularly like a moral in Eastern Buddhism. It says that although the Buddha possessed enormous supernatural power, there's still four things he cannot do. To give wisdom is one of the four things. Wisdom can be guided but not provided. Who desire it must take the leading role. I'm Nguyen, a language enthusiast. Thank you for listening.